Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fifth episode of Seattle Baseline Podcast. My name is Julian Smith, and I'm here with Isaac Bruce. Isaac, the Masters, you got me. Rory McIlroy wins the Masters over Justin Rose. But you know what? Crazy to think that our two picks were the playoff picks. So, what do you think?
It was certainly a fun tournament. Happy for Rory McIlroy, finally able to complete the career Grand Slam. Huge achievement for him, and yeah, it was fun to watch. Rory sure made it interesting.
Yeah, no, like I was watching the Masters, like you can see part of Rory McIlroy's game. For example, like the 12th hole, 86-yard chip shot where he just like mental lapses. He was losing. Like he was losing to his mind.
Yep.
But at the end, he brought it back to,
Yep.
the playoff hole. Because he had that like push to the right with his iron or his wedge shots the whole like day.
Yep.
And then he was missing putts left and right. Like he was 15, 16, 17 were all putts that he should have made. The only one he made was 17. And so
Yep.
like he was losing to himself, but he ended up winning. That's strength right there. It shows you how hard it is to win as a professional golfer and like just sheer competitiveness out of Rory. That was awesome to watch. But
Absolutely.
we're gonna
Absolutely.
get into some Mariners stuff here. Isaac, I think we need to address the Julio Rodriguez problem.
Yes, and I was actually just going to use our little discussion about Rory McIlroy there to kind of bring up Julio Rodriguez, and it's important to remember that as much as baseball and golf are both very physical sports, they're also extremely mental. And I mean, from a casual fan's perspective, as I am, that is what I'm seeing with Julio Rodriguez. It's an approach issue, it's a mental issue, it's not a physical issue, right? Bat speed, top 10 percentile in the league. Um, his average exit velocity is also top 10. It's just he's swinging at the wrong pitches, and it's just pitch selection at this point. And that's been the narrative for the last 2 years. The question is, can Julio swing at strikes? And what it looks like to me is that Julio's trying to get those breaking balls up in the zone. He's trying to hit those mistake pitches. And the issue with him just waiting for the mistake pitches is when they don't come and the pitcher, does his job and commands those pitches, he's just got nothing.
Mm.
He's hitting 140 against the fastball this year. It's like for a guy that gets thrown a fastball 61% of the time, you cannot be batting 170 against the fastball. Like, you look at his graph of what pitches he's been thrown season by season. This season, he's getting way more fastballs than he usually does because pitchers have figured out that if you just throw that thing to him, he probably won't be on time for it. The good swings he has put on the fastball have been driving the ball the other way, which is great, but it hasn't been consistent enough. And it's just been a frustrating start of the season for Julio Rodriguez, and we see that reflected today in Dan Wilson's lineup card, where Julio Rodriguez is not featured in the starting lineup.
Yeah, like well, if we go back to when Julio was doing good, and I'm not talking about like 3 years ago on his first year, Julio was doing amazing. Like I'm talking about the San Francisco Giants series where we got swept. Oof. But Julio Rodriguez did play really well there, and I want to point out that he was actually really good against the fastball. The home run that he had, like fastball, like first pitch fastball, he swung
Yep.
at it, gets it. That's the type of stuff that Julio Rodriguez needs. If Julio's early on the fastball, because we know he has the bad speed to do so, it's not like he has to cheat the fastball to be able to hit the fastball. Like he can look at it and hit it. It's just pitch identification and how much of a leash does he have when he sees a slider that's low and away? Because we
Mm-hmm.
know that he can't hit that.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it time and time again. And I mean, it's hard, but
Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez is supposed to be the type of player comparable to your Vlad Guerrero Juniors who are playing today again. Hopefully, we win that. Your Freddie Freemans, your Mookie Betts, your Aaron Judges, your Juan Sotos, your franchise players all across the world. Julio Rodriguez is the comparison from the Mariners to one of those guys.
Yep.
And he just hasn't been that.
Absolutely.
You can't you really can't say like anything along the lines of like he's going to be good at August and September, so therefore he's going to be good, because like you're not paying Julio Rodriguez to be good for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying this guy to be your all-star, your superstar for the entirety of the season. That's why you have him. And when your superstar is batting under 200, it's really hard to win games. And we're really fortunate to have players like Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh hitting really good for us right now. Because if not, our offense, especially with Victor Robles down right now, is really, really like it's out of shape. It's really out of shape. And you were talking about being late to the fastball. Somebody that was late to the fastball last season was Randy Arozarena. And I think like the season before coming to the Mariners, he was hitting 250 against the fastball and slugging some 550 against the fastball, versus Julio Rodriguez right now. Like he's basically doing the same thing that Randy was doing last season, where he'll take a few walks here and there. He'll hit some breaking balls. I mean, not every pitch is going to be perfect, so some are going to be served up for Julio. And like basically that's exactly what Randy did last season. And like Randy Arozarena was nothing close to successful last season. If Julio ends up being that same way, where like he's chasing the slider like Bo Bichette did last season, where Bo Bichette hit 250, or no, not 225, sorry. 225, 250 would be great right now, but 225 last season. And I mean, we just can't have that from our superstar, who's supposed to be, you know, one of those guys. That's my like opinion on this. Julio Rodriguez, he needs to take this rest day, and he needs to figure out when his timing is, like how late he is, and adjust to it, because we can't be having Julio Rodriguez hitting sub 200.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He's seen 200 fastballs this year, according to Baseball Savant, and he's had a hit on 8 of them. It's, you know, the fastball, it's a tough pitch to hit when well located, but not all 200 of those have been well located. We have seen Julio get fastballs in the heart of the plate, even down low, and he just hasn't been able to do a whole lot with them. He only has 1 home run off the fastball this year. He only has 3 home runs, but the other 2 were on breaking balls that, again, we talk about those served up breaking balls. Those were his 2 other home runs. His average launch angle on the fastball, according to Baseball Savant, is 4 degrees. So when he does hit the fastball, he hits it on the ground, which is not a recipe for success, and is certainly not a recipe for power numbers, right? You hit the ball hard on the ground, you're going to get it hit every once in a while, right? Ellie De La Cruz may let it go through the wickets, but it's not a recipe for continued success, right? We're not playing the Reds every week. You know, Julio just can't hit the ball on the ground over and 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 over. At some point, he'll make an adjustment. He's an incredible player. He's very talented. I have no doubt that at some point, you know, either Edgar Martinez is going to sit him down and say you have to make an adjustment, or he's going to make that adjustment by himself. He's a talented player. He'll be able to figure it out. And it's important to mention that despite only batting 179, he still does have a positive WAR because of his good defense. And that's not to say that Julio Rodriguez is going to be a defensive center fielder. That's not why we have Julio Rodriguez, right? We don't want Julio to be a defensive center fielder, but he certainly is bringing value defensively. So yeah, I mean it's been a rough offensive start for Julio Rodriguez, and I do not think it will continue. I think Julio will figure it out. A couple weeks ago, I said that Cal Raleigh was going to figure it out, and since he has homered 6 times in the last 7 games, so hopefully I have some reverse announcers jinx, and now Julio's going to be good the rest for the next week, but we'll see. One more important note on Julio. Sorry, yeah. I know I'm rambling. He's 7th percentile in whiff percentage. He whiffs 36% of the time, and is 15th percentile in chase percentage with 35.2% of the time. That is both according to Baseball Savant. So it's not pretty on those numbers. But yeah, any closing notes on Julio Rodriguez, Julian?
Yeah, so I actually have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that Julio Rodriguez is forever the amazing August and September guy, and like that's just like how he is as a player, as opposed to like, you know, just an all-around good player that like starts and finishes the same? Like is he a player that's like, you know, in his prime? Is he the type of player that's good for the whole season, or are we waiting for that second half of the season for Julio to kick in and be good in the playoffs where it really matters? Is that the type of player that we're looking at, or is Julio actually the type of player that's like that doesn't have to sleep for the first half of the season to be actually good?
I mean, it really just depends. You know, everyone prepares for the season differently. And obviously, this is me saying this as a casual fan. I have no idea how any of these guys prepare, but, you know, people prepare for things differently. Julio has made lots of off-season adjustments from season to season to try and like tool some things and fix some things. And I think when you work on changing things, you know, baseball, golf, tennis, no matter what you're doing, if you change your motion, you change your action, that's going to lead to a little bit of hiccups early in the season as you have to repeat that action over and over against, you know, elite pitching, right? That's going to be difficult. I think as he gets older, he'll make less adjustments, and hopefully that will mean that he's able to kind of find his stride, find what he wants earlier in the season. But if he continues to chase pitches and doesn't figure it out till June or July, then yeah, he's going to be a June or July guy. The warm weather also certainly plays a role. We know T-Mobile Park is horrible to hit in, and it's really horrible to hit in April and May because of how kind of damp and cloudy and cold it is. It's just not a great place to hit. And in June and July and August, it's beautiful in Seattle, and it's a lot easier to hit. So I think both of those are big factors for Julio, but yeah, good question, Julian.
I guess when I come back from Penn State to go back to Seattle, I'll enjoy that hot summer weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, on this is like really similar to the Julio note. It does involve Julio.
Yes.
But it's base running.
Yep.
Like I'm stoked to see the aggressiveness of the offense.
Absolutely.
Against the Reds in the last game, we gave up a home run to Jake Fraley, the grand slam to Jake Fraley, and we came back from it. Our offense was really, really clutch. So right now, I feel like our offense is at the point where we need it to be. We don't need it to be the Dodgers offense. We don't need it to be, you know, like the best offense in the world. We just need it to be good. And our pitching staff should be pretty good for that. Like, regardless of how it is now, it'll average out to being at the level that we see it being. I'm pretty sure. So, but the thing that I saw against Toronto was this horrible, horrible base running. And by horrible, I mean like straight up, I don't understand what you're trying to do. Like the first one was Cal Raleigh's. I understand what went on there. on screen it looked like a double.
Yep.
I was really surprised when Cal Raleigh got thrown out because I thought that, Cal Raleigh's a good runner. So it looked like a double. It was pretty deep. I think it hit the wall too.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that was, it was a good throw from right field. It was
Absolutely.
really good. But
Absolutely.
the, that was, I think, in the top of the fourth. And then the next one came really soon after that. Randy Arozarena gets on first base. Luke Raley hits a double. This is 2 outs so far. And when Luke Raley hits a double, Randy Arozarena is sent back home when the throw from right field was basically already at home plate when he kicked third base.
Yeah.
And by the time they were throwing it back and forth, third base to home plate, back to third base, um, Randy wasn't even 1/3 towards home when they started doing that, and he was in a jam. I get it. You want to score that run. That run was really crucial, but it was, to me, it was way too aggressive.
Yeah.
We look back at last season, and I think the big one that comes up to me is we had the bases loaded. I think it was against the Yankees,
Yeah.
and Victor Robles steals back home with a slide when Justin Turner's at 3-0, probably looking at a walk.
Yeah.
That's kind of the moment I come back to. It's
Yep.
no, I'm not saying that, being aggressive is bad, but in that certain instance, that being aggressive might have cost us the game.
Yep.
Cal Raleigh, if he stayed at first, which I don't blame him, that was a good shot that looked like a double. But if Cal Raleigh stayed on first, Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh are now on 1 out with second and first. Luke Raley hits that double. Cal Raleigh scores. Randy's on third, and Luke Raley's on second. Now you've got Rowdy Tellez coming up, probably a sacrifice fly. And so it's something where we probably could have tied the game going into the ninth inning. And I don't know, it just seemed like kind of like we're going back to the Masters every time we talk about something new, but it's a mental thing where
Yeah.
you see all of this kind of fall apart in front of your eyes batting wise, and
Yeah.
it messes with you because those are 2 runs that, according to the batting, not the running, the batting, you should have scored, right?
Yep.
That it should have been 3-3 as easily as it was a 1-3 game. And
Yep.
when you see that kind of fall apart action, it's really, really hard to come back. So that
Yep.
base running, I think, mentally cost us the game, not just physically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the reality of this new Mariners aggressive base running identity. I think Dan has kind of put forth the kind of statement from the get go that we're going to be a very aggressive base running team. We've seen Cal Raleigh. I believe he has 3 stolen bases now. He may have 4. Cal Raleigh, not a fast guy in comparison to most of the majors. I believe he's around the 25th percentile in sprint speed. So he's by no means flying around. And so we'd like to see the aggressive base running. I think the right fielder yesterday, Addison Barger, had a great game. From a defensive perspective, he had a great game. He only has 219 at bats in the majors, right? So he's by no means an everyday right fielder. So I think Eric Young Jr. kind of just thought, let's be aggressive. Let's see if we can maybe score a run here with Randy and get us back in the ball game. And so, good send, bad send. We're being aggressive. I like to see the aggressiveness. Sure, hindsight's 2020, but I just honestly just a great defensive game from the Blue Jays. And again, live by the sword, die by the sword. Yesterday we died by the sword. I agree, Julian.
I mean, live by the sword, die by the sword. I'm all the way for that. I love when Julio and Victor, they run together. I'm so excited to see Victor Robles come back in 12 weeks or however long it is. But the big thing for me is that the Cal Raleigh run was fine. I say that over and over. The Randy Arozarena one, that's a decision that, you know what, they made. It was aggressive, but it didn't work out.
Correct. Yep. And I mean,
Rowdy Tellez tagging from second base to third base on Addison Barger after seeing that Cal Raleigh was thrown out on a really good hit. And Randy Rosarena, one of our fastest guys right now, obviously didn't make it to home plate off of Addison Barger. So, like,
yeah.
after seeing that, you're sending somebody who can barely run to try to hit third. Like, whoever's decision that was, like, that's not a scouting report problem. That's like a just mental lapse problem. And I'm like, and also it is also a scouting report problem because, like, this is something that you've got to see.
Yeah.
When Ichiro was in right field in the early 2000s, nobody ran on Ichiro.
Yep.
Because the scouting report said, don't run on Ichiro. This guy's going to throw you out.
Yep.
I mean, it's called the laser beam for a purpose. Like,
yeah,
this guy is very good at defense, and obviously the scouting report didn't say that. You like when you're making the scouting report, I don't care if you have to go back to the minor league numbers for scouting reports. You got to do it because if this guy is one of the best defensive right fielders right now, which it really seems like he is one of the best right fielders defensively with the way he played yesterday, that's got to be on the scouting report. That can't be left off. It was very, very frustrating for me to see that in a game that we probably not should have won, but could have won. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I feel. Other than the first 3 runs given up by Bryan Woo, there were no runs given up. Not saying the bullpen was great, but you know what? Like 7 innings from Woo, and then we got the job done.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, we have kind of a weakened bullpen at the moment, right? We don't have a ton of conventional high leverage arms. And so to see Woo go 7 innings is great. That's what we need out of our starting pitchers. We need 6 or 7 innings. That's the recipe for success. The recipe for success for the Mariners is going to be score 4 runs, starter goes 6 or 7, right? We use one or, we have 1 or 2 setup guys, and then Munoz shuts the door. That's going to be the recipe for success. Easier said than done? Absolutely. But that's how we're going to win ball games. We're not going to win them by going 4 innings and, having the conga line come out of the bullpen for the next 5 innings. And right, like it's just hard to win consistently like that because you don't have 6 really good bullpen pitchers, right? That's not a reality for really any team. So, we'll see if our starters can continue to do that. And I was pleased. Woo, I think, was just unlucky yesterday. Woo has been a guy that's missed barrels in his career, and he didn't miss barrels yesterday. He found a lot of them, and it's just unfortunate. Speaking of barrels, we have a new barrel, Ben Williamson. What are your thoughts on Ben Williamson, Julian?
Ben Williamson, I love exactly what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like your role player. Like, if you're talking about like basketball, he's not your Stephen Curry. That's your Julio Rodriguez. But like, he's one of those guys that you can pass the ball to, and he'll drain a 3-pointer every once in a while, right? Like that's kind of like what your Ben Williamson type of guy is.
Yep.
The best thing about him is that he was, I think, kind of the replacement to the defensive Josh Rojas type that we were searching for. And right now, if you look at his batting, I have nothing bad to say about him. Like, other than the fact that he's not hitting home runs because he doesn't really have the power to do so. I mean, maybe he does. He's been hitting really hard off the barrel this week. But like, overall, Ben Williamson, I didn't expect anything from him. I was expecting a maybe 150 hitter at the very, very most. No hit power whatsoever. Got the speed because he's a defensive player, but didn't expect much out of his offense. And his offense was great. Or not great, but like, his offense was good enough. His defense was amazing. Really, really good compared to Jorge Polanco, who really can't play defense. I am so glad we got Ben Williamson.
Yep.
Whoever saw that Ben Williamson was out there and like could be called up, great. Like
Yep.
keep
Yep.
on doing what you're doing because
Yep.
that's exactly the job that like the Mariners need from not just Ben Williamson, but whoever decided to call him up. You know, like that's the right job. That
Yep.
yeah, like you know, because the Mariners aren't going to go out and spend much money, and
Yep.
this isn't about like, no, the Mariners don't spend any money. We suck right now. No, like because the Mariners don't have much money to spend, we have to be really strategic about this stuff.
Absolutely.
And calling up Ben Williamson, that's peak strategy right now.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
that we're doing it, you know, like with the restraints that we have, the Mariners are doing their best to try to make a team that's good and competitive.
Absolutely.
It's
Yep.
it's been good. Like I really like the Ben Williamson call up, and I want to know your thoughts.
So far, I've been pleased from what I've seen from Ben Williamson. Um, he's done a great job of not chasing. Right, he's I think his chase rate sitting somewhere in the 20 to 25% right now. And so he's not chasing a whole heck of a lot, and he's not whiffing a whole heck of a lot. So those are two good things. Good bat to ball skills, and we'll see if the exit velo and the power come around. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But he's been fun to watch.
And
Yeah.
and like if you look at the players that are good right now, like other than your usuals, your Cal Raleighs, your Randy
Yep.
Rosarenas, and your Jorge Polanco. Actually, Jorge Polanco, I'm glad he's doing good now because last season he was bad.
Yeah. No.
Hopefully his side heals up quickly and he can
Yep.
actually bat from his right side instead of being a platoon bat basically
Yep.
from the left. But if you look at the good players right now, Miles Mastroboni,
Yes.
who expected this guy to be the starting like the first batter on your lineup?
Yep.
Like
Batting leadoff today.
yeah, no, like who expected that? No,
Yep.
nobody expected that. That was definitely not on my bingo card.
Yep.
So it's nice. It's
Yep.
cool to see him there. And I'm excited for Matt Brash to return soon. It's too
Yep.
bad Troy Taylor got sent down. I don't know what happened there, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know the biggest Matt Brash fan is you right now.
I absolutely love Matt Brash. Matt Brash, his slider is just absolutely filthy. He is such a fun guy to watch. Whenever I think of Matt Brash, of course, I think of the double play that he turned against the Yankees in that instant classic, as it was called, in the 10th inning. That was a really exciting game. The behind the back snare and then the double play. Just such a fun guy to watch. Really electric. Excited to have him back.
Yeah,
another addition to the bullpen. Excited.
Yeah. I'm super stoked because right now, if you Andres Munoz is obviously the top guy on the food
Yep.
chain, and with Gregory Santos gone, Gabe Spire is going to be your next guy. It seems like with consistency and overall just like how good he is. Carlos
Yep.
Vargas is good. With Matt Brash coming back, you add someone to that top three in the bullpen, and so I'm super excited. But any closing thoughts?
No. I think we got all that we wanted to covered. I'm looking forward to another week of Mariners baseball, and hopefully we can win some more ball games. It's been a fun last week to watch, and hopefully the offense can stay hot.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's all I got. That's all you got. Have a great week, everybody. Go Mariners.
Go Mariners.